Hey all, it's time for another episode of What's on Your Plate podcast. I am Sarah, your host, and today I'm here to share a conversation I recently enjoyed with Realtor and women's empowerment advocate Angie Popovich. Listen in as we talk about not just pulling up our seats to the table, but instead just creating our own chairs at the tables we are building. Let's get going. So, if you have listened to What's on Your Plate podcast in the past, you may already know that I am always 1,000% excited to talk to women who are passionate about empowering other women. And I'm really excited today to invite on Angie Popovich, who is doing just that in the world and specifically in the Northwest Indiana area. Hey, Angie.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for inviting me.
I'm so excited to have you on. It's true when I say that. I just love, elevating women, especially that are working hard at, empowering all of us to come together rather than be competitive with each other. And I think that is something that you are really doing so well in your endeavors with president-elect, right, to Women's Council of Realtors of Northwest Indiana. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, I am president-elect. I will be president for 2024 of Women's Council of Realtors, Northwest Indiana. This is a nationally known organization. It started about 80 years ago when women, believe it or not, were barred from joining realtor associations. So the women got together and they started this Women's Council of Realtors. And it's kind of just grown from there. Like I said, we're all over the United States, but it wasn't until this year that we came to Northwest Indiana, which was kind of surprising to me. So, one of my realtor friends, Kim Collins, who is president this year, approached me last spring and told me about how she was bringing this chapter of the Women's Council to Northwest Indiana, told me what it was about, and I was immediately on board. I mean, all I had to hear was encouraging women, helping them become leaders, helping them become better in their business. And I was like, sign me up.
Yeah, I would be all about that as well. And it's just so exciting to hear that chapter is finding its way to this region. And, something that you said a couple of minutes ago about it wasn't that long ago that women weren't even invited to the table to have these types of conversations. It wasn't that long ago that women had to gain permission from their spouses, from their husbands, in order to open bank accounts and have credit cards. And it's just mind-blowing to me that is a world that we once lived in, and to think that is a very real reality for many women around the globe still. So that we are able to be in a position to truly bring women together in an empowering way. It's just so inspiring. I'm just so excited about the work you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, like I said, it was around for 80 years, or it's been around for 80 years, but the first 20 years of that 80 years, they were still not allowed to be a part of the Realtor Association. So that was just 60 years ago, which, yeah, like you said, it wasn't that long ago that all these things were going on. So, and I think that's just such a woman thing to do, right? To gather some of your girls and, encourage each other and be like, hey, we can't be a part of this, but let's start our own thing. And, I think it just shows the heart of women and how they've always wanted to encourage one another. And they started this on their own. And, that's just a typical woman thing to do, I believe.
Yeah, I think that it's great. Like I said before, when we can all kind of collectively come to the table and even save seats for each other instead of trying to, be exclusively inviting people via invitation or reservation only, so to speak. I love it when we can fix each other's crowns and
Yes.
really just level up help each other level up, and really just show up for ourselves and for our fellow women, and just bring opportunities for women who are professionally and personally. That's something that you're working towards as well with this organization. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that looks like?
Sure. So with the Women's Council, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. And I feel like it's not just realtors, right? It could be like anybody in any aspect of their life, to grab a group of girls and just form a group to encourage each other. But I know other business women and realtors especially, has we have this reputation of being so cutthroat and competitive because, we are self-employed, we are our own entrepreneurs here, and we're trying to build our own business. But it doesn't have to be so cutthroat like you say. Like, I have really built my business by networking and becoming friends before this organization even started. I've built my business up a lot just by networking with other realtors and getting to know all sorts of business people and realtors who aren't even a part of my company, and becoming friends with them. And it's helped grow my business so much in that way because, hey, if we know each other and we're friends and we're friendly, um, the way the market's been the past couple of years, when something comes about and we're in a multiple offer situation and you know me and you trust me and I'm a hard worker, you want to work with me. And I feel like that's helped to grow my business. And so I encourage everyone, excuse me, don't be so competitive, like be friends, encourage each other, and you'll see that you'll go a lot farther in your career. And that's kind of what the Women's Council is all about.
Yeah, I feel like getting past that competitive cattiness that a lot of women have been groomed to be like is something that I would say is residual and a byproduct of just be in the space at all. We've worked so hard just to be able to be in the same space as men in a lot of ways that we often forget that as women we don't have to necessarily be elbowing each other out of the way to
Right.
find our own space in all of this. So I hope that the work that you're doing and the work that people like you are doing will really start to switch gears in that regard and help people just really realize that there really is space for everybody and we all can be in it at the same time. I think something else that really comes to mind with this topic of conversation is how in the process it's so hard to be in this space, we also are expected to not let the world see the struggle it has taken to get in this and the struggle that it takes to maintain the space, and not just within our professional lives, but how we incorporate and manage it with our personal lives and our family as well. What is your take on that thought?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love creating a space where women can come together, and it's not just about encouraging each other. It's also about sharing our struggles, like you said. And, I feel like as women, we're expected to just have it all together and, do it all and make it all happen. And whether you're a mom or a wife, we're daughters, we're sisters, we're all the things. And we are the ones expected to kind of keep the train moving, right? And I feel like we don't really share our struggles because it shows that we're weak and we're supposed to come off as having it all together. So just creating a space where us as businesswomen can come together and be like, hey, um, I'm struggling here. I'm having a hard time working my schedule with my kids and, my business. Like I'm like I need help here. Just creating that space where we can be open and honest and share our struggles, because I feel like just now in the culture of social media and, all that stuff, there's the comparison, and you're really just supposed to have it all together, and it's okay not to. And I feel like women need to know that like it's okay, and to be able to come somewhere where you can share that and be encouraged, I think is huge, and not be judged for not having it all together. Instead, just have a safe space to share that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And, it reminds me of the quote that says, don't compare yourself to other moms or other women. We are all losing our shit. Some of us are just better at hiding it than others.
Exactly. And I feel like you don't have to hide it. Like, it's okay. I just want someone to be like, it's okay. And I try with my own social media. And I do need to get better with it. But, I do, because I'm sure someone could look at me and be like, she's so busy. How does she do it all? I have 3 kids. I run a business. I'm married. Like, we have a lot going on. And I'm sure people look at my social media like, how does she do it? And I feel like I'm trying to get better at like hopping on there once in a while and be like, I'm losing my mind. I don't have it all together. I dropped the ball doing this. I failed at this. And every time I do share stuff like that, I get people that respond to me and like, thank you. Thank you for being honest and real. Because you can get so caught up in like admiring these people that you're watching and like, oh, I wish I was more like them, when you don't realize that they're just like you, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that it's so easy to just get sucked into that social media world of the comparison game, and really just forgetting that most of what people post is like kind of like fake news, honestly.
Sure, yeah, they're highlight reels for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
We joke in the realtor world that so many realtors, and not to call anybody out, but like you know your job is to get clients, right? Especially on social media. So a lot of times you make yourself look busier than you really are. You
sure.
could post the same house that you got under contract 3 times, like, I got it under contract. Um we got to clear a close. We just closed, and it's the same house, but someone might be seeing this and be like, oh my goodness, they got 3 or 4 houses under contract. It's like, no, it's the same house. They just keep repurposing the same material.
Mhm.
And then you look at your own life like, oh, I haven't gotten myself, a sale in a long time. Like, what's wrong with me? So yeah, it's totally can be like the fake news, or, it's smoke and mirrors, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? It's true. I agree with what you said, that when you do share something that feels like a mistake, or you're transparent about something, or something that feels vulnerable, the response that you receive from that is often better than the post you put out that you were hoping would get more attention, right? Or that you thought might
Yeah,
get more attention, because you're being real, and that's very relatable when you can show people that you're human just like they are. That's a powerful
100%.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those are some of my most popular, I'm being 100% honest. Those are some of my most popular posts, is when I'm being real and people can relate to me.
Yeah, 100%. I think that it's easy to polish the exteriors and soften all the edges so that we all kind of, look the part. But at the end of the day, we all have teeth to brush. We all have, you
Right.
know, to take to, get the dirt and dinge off our bodies at the end of the day. And, humanizing us to show that we all are in the struggle together is so powerful.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I totally agree. So let's try to do more of that, guys. Let's
So,
humanize being normal.
yeah, exactly. Tell me about the in your either past or present that have inspired you to embark on some of the work that you're doing.
I'm sorry, I missed that first part.
Um, Tell me about the women in your
Okay.
life, past or present, that have inspired you to embark on the work that you've been doing.
Yeah, so I'm actually a second generation realtor. My mom, Carol Biel, has been a realtor in Northwest Indiana for almost 30 years. So, obviously I've looked up to her. I remember saying when I was younger, like, I will never do that. um, because she worked 24/7, and which you have to do as a realtor, right? You always have to be available. Um, so I definitely looked up to my mom and admired what a hard worker, she is, and just her heart for others. And she has a reputation in the business as just being, she'll help anybody, no matter who you are, what company you work for. Um, so I've kind of looked up to her in that way. I feel like I kind of get my heart for helping others from my mom, especially in the business world. And then one of the things she's kind of inspired me to do a little bit different is, and I feel like a lot of people our age are doing this a little bit more, right? To kind of find more of a work-life balance, which is something that I'm trying to push a little bit with Women's Council as well. Um, we threw an event back in January, which I could talk about in a minute. But just not to focus so much on the business all the time, right? You have to take care of yourself, and you also have to take care of your loved ones. So try to find that work-life balance. You'll be a better person if, I believe, you put your family first and yourself first. Um, because in that way, then you'll grow, your family gets what they need from you, you'll get the time to recover and rest, and then you'll be better for your clients and better for your business. So I kind of took like watching my mom, how she, like, rock star agent, worked 24/7, but I'm like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way to tweak this a little bit so I can find a little bit more of a work life balance, especially with the age that my kids are at right now. They're preteen, teenagers. They're in all the sports, all the after school activities, and I want to be there for that. So that's something I'm passionate about as well, and something I would love to focus on during my presidency of Women's Council is finding more of that work life balance and how it can benefit not only yourself but your business as well. That's
Yeah,
kind of a long-winded answer for the women that have helped me, but back to your question, my mom has been like a huge influence on me.
that's really cool. That's great to hear. But I definitely can understand what you're talking about with kind of learning from our parents what we don't want, what we do want. And I remember my grandfather as well saying, I don't know what the context of the conversation was, but for some reason, what he said always stuck in my mind as not resonating. And that was, work has to come first.
Mm,
And he, of course, grew up in a very different time and,
sure.
had a large family to support. And I know that some of those things changed the mindset, but he's a great example, as well as my own mom is a great example of people who just had the work mindset. And I think my mom retired from her job probably 3 weeks before she passed away. 3 weeks.
Yeah,
And,
gosh.
she like literally working until you die. Like it was
Yeah.
so just consuming, and I don't agree with that for myself either. And I don't know that balance is achievable, because I think especially with a family, like things are always going to be hectic and
Sure.
chaotic, but at least prioritizing things differently. This time around, our generation is really, I think, seeing things in a different light, and that really quality of life and quality of time spent is much higher than amount of hours worked.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You're right, it is hard to find that balance. But we can't just, like you said, keep working and then get to the end of our life, or you never know how much time you have, and then, what you don't get to take that with you, right? Like, what was all that?
Mhm.
I mean, obviously you have to support your family, but I feel like you can do that, um, and still prioritize your family time and yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. A friend of mine too, I can remember her saying that if she wanted to see her mom growing up, she had to go to the restaurant that she worked at because she just
Mhm.
like, that's where she was like 18, 20
Right.
hours a day. That's if she wanted to see mom, she had to go to her work. And it just seems so backwards to me to have that mindset. But I think our generations and the ones younger than ours are starting to just grasp that concept a little bit more of what are we really here for, like living your purpose instead of just living the mundane of what the world tells you you're supposed to do, in regards to just getting up and going to work and giving away your
Right.
time to other people for their purpose, not necessarily what your own purpose and passions are.
Right.
So I think there's a huge shift in that right now.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, I hope so. I hope our kids, can see that we're trying, and that encourages them to live their life the same way, if not better, right?
Right,
To make the
right.
next generation even, for them to prioritize that even a little bit more. I hope they see that, you know, growing up watching us at least try to find that balance as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were talking to your daughter, do you have one daughter or two daughters? I can't
I
remember.
have two daughters, two
Two,
daughters
two.
and a son. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess it's like putting the question in your mind of what would you tell your own daughters, or how would you be guiding them in that way, and even in the work you're doing with the Women's Council, in a way that they take care of themselves while also showing up for their responsibilities.
Yeah. Oh man, don't even get me started. I feel like my girls, so I have my oldest is a freshman and then my middle girl's in 8th grade. So they're, you know, in the middle of middle school and high school drama, right? And they'll come home and tell me things. And it frustrates me so bad because I'm trying to instill in them so much like, don't, you have to stand up for yourself. Like, don't let people talk to you that way, and also don't be afraid to be your own person. They are so worried about what others think. And I mean, I get it, like you're 13, 14, 15 years old. Like, I get it, right?
Mhm.
But I'm just really trying to instill in them, like, not to worry about what others think, be your own person. Um, do your own thing. Like, don't do things to make others happy. I'm really working on that right now, and it bothers me so much, but, like, quick story, my daughter is on the middle school dance team, and she was performing a couple weeks ago at the halftime show, and, I noticed she was kind of not into it, and I asked her after the performance, like, "What was going on? Why were you holding back so much?" And she's like, "2 of the popular girls were standing right there watching me." I was like, "So?" Like, that should make you bust a move even more and, like, show them, like, "Look what I can do." Why would you hide your skills because these girls are watching you? It's just so frustrating. So, right now, I'm really trying to encourage them in being their own person, not worrying what others think, and to try to instill, like, that work ethic in them, but also, like, I really hope they see in me, like, "Hey, mom works hard, yes, but also mom wants to take you out. Let's do fun stuff. Let's get our nails done. Let's um take time for ourselves." They always ask me at the end of the day when my son does, my girls are kind of mean to me now that they're teenagers, but what was your favorite part of the day? He asks me that all the time. And I'm like, right now, like being home with you guys. So I really hope that my kids see that like I am happiest. I am most relaxed for the most part if they're not arguing when I'm with them and when either we're hanging out at home or doing fun things that like mom needs that time. Um, when I'm stressed out or in my business, I need that time with them to recuperate, recover, and so I could take that time for myself. So I really hope that they see that.
I think that's so important, Angie, because we do still live in a culture where women who are working outside or even inside the home, but women who have careers, right, are still expected to basically handle everything else they were prior to that in the home, while also
Yes.
being professionals out in the world. And that taking time for yourself often is the very first thing to go when there's just not time to squeeze all the things in between, the house showing and organizing event for for the women's council, driving kids around to practice and showing up for, all the things at home and doing all the responsibilities. Like the first thing to go is, whatever it is that feels good to you, even just a warm bubble bath at the end of the day or a walk to decompress, it's like the first thing that gets put off to another day. So I love that you are prioritizing to them that time.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually, and I have such a supportive, loving husband. Like he is so great. He always supports all my crazy ideas. So I'm so thankful for him. But I was complaining to a friend recently. And I think it's when one of my kids were sick. And of course my kids always get sick when I have like something important going on, right? Like it never fails. And I was complaining to a friend, like, oh, like, why is it like when the kids get sick, it's like I have to call off work or I have to find the sitter. It's like the husband just gets to go to work and not have to worry about it every morning, but it's like on the mom, I feel like always. And it's not his fault. Like I said, he's amazing and supportive, but I feel like it's always on us, right?
Mm-hmm.
To, like you said, we have to do it all. And I'm like, it's just like, I'm the one who's stressed out trying to find a sitter or, trying to reschedule my day so I could stay home with them. Like, why does it have to be that way? So yeah.
I can really relate to that. Like I'm already like stressing about childcare over the summer and like I am the only one stressing out about it.
Right. Yeah. The husband's like, oh, whatever, like
yeah.
But yeah, I get it. And it's like, I think that's just because that's how it's always been, right? Like, I don't know. It's like, oh, it's on us. So, I mean, yeah, that's another reason that I think it's so important to have um, women in your life or to be a part of some organization, maybe within whatever career you're in, um, just to vent about those things, right? And, just have someone to go to, maybe if it's even like a friend, just like, oh, why, I need to talk about this. I'm stressed out, and just to have that person that is there to encourage you.
I think it's really powerful for women to know that they're not alone in these struggles. And I think most of us deep down know that we're not, but to actually have a group that can support each other and be an ear, even just to say out loud the things that are really, feeling heavy in our lives is something that just saying it out loud can often be enough to just help decompress a little bit and alleviate that stress and tension to get us back on track.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so many people counting on us all the time, and I think the pressures of that just can really boil over if they're ignored.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's when taking that time for yourself really comes into effect because everything does build up so much and, it's gonna explode. So you better either take the time to yourself or like be ready to have like a mental breakdown because one of them's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And then being able to recover if you do let that get to the boiling point is a whole nother podcast, I'm sure, of how to even heal from the results of not caring for ourselves like we need to as women, especially.
Yeah, going back to that event that I put on back in January for the Women's Council, it was sort of a new year, new you kind of kickoff. And I know that's like such a cliche term, people use it all the time, but I really my goal was to um, encourage these realtors to get not only their mind and their business right for 2023, or I'm sorry, not to only get their business right for 2023, but to get their mind and their body um, right for the year ahead as well. And it was important to me. It was a 3-hour event. Like, how could I cram as many, speakers and like good nuggets of information to really encourage these women to not only help grow their business this year, but to help them learn techniques to better their mind and their body as well. Because, like I said, I mean, it's so important, like we just discussed. Um, so I think that's a big part of Women's Council as well, is we just want to add as much value as we can. Obviously, our goal is to help you grow your business and help you be, a better member of your community, help you grow in leadership in your community. But it's not just through your business, it's also within your own life and your own family. So a big part of that is just how to better yourself. And I think we lose focus of that, like we were talking about as women. So I think that event for me was important to help them focus on getting their mind right too for the year and their body. And so we talked about, I had the gourmet goddess on who was fantastic. Um, she was helping get your pantry in shape and like giving you quick, easy recipes for us working ladies who are working late, right? We're working late hours. She gave us a list of pantry staples and gave us some good, quick recipes for on the go. And we had Avi Kevish, who is also amazing. I've done her, she's, you know her as well. She does juicing and she is so knowledgeable in the power of that and what it does to your body and the benefits of it. So I had her come on and just talk about, the health benefits of that. And we had this girl, Katie, come on, who's a hypnotherapist, just telling you how to like free up that space in your mind to focus on your goals. And I mean, she was amazing, just breathing techniques, like how to get your head in the right space for what you want to achieve this year. So, yeah, besides our regular realtor tips, like obviously we had someone come in and talk about staging and how to do your finances as a realtor because we are self-employed. So, we have to get all that in order. It wasn't just how to build your business, it's also how to take care of yourself in the process. So I really hoped women walked away from that feeling ready to take on the year and also ready to make themselves better personally as well.
No doubt they felt hugely supported during that event. It sounds like it was amazing. So much knowledge and information I'm sure was brought forth. And again, just to have that space to come together in that way is just amazing. So is that something that is put on once a year, or are there multiple events for that organization in this region?
No, the Women's Council, we meet once a month actually, and we have different topics each month. Our February event was called What's Up with That? And we had a lender and an appraiser panel come on, and we kind of played it. I don't know if you've ever seen the Saturday Night Live skit, What's Up with That? Maybe you have. But it was almost like a comedy skit where realtors were able to ask like real questions that maybe we would be nervous or embarrassed to ask to these lenders and appraisers. And it was funny. It was comical. We'd ask our question and be like, what's up with that? Like, why are you this way? Why do you do this to us?
That sounds so fun.
It was so fun. So it's like we take like maybe something that might be boring, like going and sitting there listening to these people talk, and we gave it a little twist, spiced it up, and made it more of like a comedy, like game show type of theme. But still, the realtors walked away with so much knowledge and value. I think they got all their questions answered by these lenders and appraisers that they probably would have never been able to ask them before. Seriously, like you might be embarrassed to ask these questions, like, why did you price my house so low when I sent you comps? Like, what's wrong with you? So it was like it created an atmosphere for them to feel comfortable to do that. Our event coming up in March is called Insta You, and it's just helping realtors. Social media is so huge now, just in any line of work that you do, right? So it's actually a workshop to help realtors with different forms of social media, how to step up their game and with social media and Canva. And we're having them make their own GIFs or GIFs, however you say it. I say GIFs. So they're going to walk away from that class actually with reels that are ready to go for Instagram. social media posts that they can use, um, Canva training, which is huge. So our goal is to really provide a lot of value to these women. So not only are they feeling like it's a safe space to go and share, but we also want them to learn and grow, right? Like that's a huge goal of ours. So um I mean all around it's you can't lose, right? You're getting that connection and networking with other women, and then you're also learning how to grow your business.
That's amazing. I just love, again, love the work that you're putting out there. And I love the way that um, all of the abundance buckets are being catered to. It isn't just how can we make more sales? How can we close on more houses? It's all the things that make our lives rich and abundant, personal, professional aspects of it all. So it's just, gosh, it's so important. And I find myself thinking that, the different professional endeavors I've been a part of, I feel like there's sometimes big type of events or big convention type of events, but I find it harder to locate those smaller niche type of organizations or close-knit events like the ones that you're hosting, in a way that it can just really be more intimate and personal versus just bulk information. And I just love what you're doing with all this so much.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely want to be hands on with these ladies. And I shouldn't just say ladies, men are also welcome to be a part of Women's Council of Realtors. We do have a handful of some brave gentlemen that join us. But one of the cool things, if I could talk really quick on the men that have joined Women's Council, um, people have asked them why they're a part of Women's Council, right? And their answers are so cool to me. And they're just like, it's because I have daughters or I have sisters and I want to learn, I want to be a part of this group. I hope they can be a part of something like this someday. I want to learn like the struggles women have. I want to learn how to be better in my role to help women, right? So I think that's so cool that these men are joining because of the women in their life, um, and that they want them to see that they are supporting women. And I love that. So, we've got a couple dads that say they have daughters and, they're doing it for their daughters. So it could create opportunities for them someday. Or so those little girls can look up to their dad and be like, he was a part of Women's Council. He cares about women and women in business. And I just think that's cool.
I love that as well. I just think it's really fantastic that a women's council group does include men in that way, because I feel like to not offer participation for men is really doing the exact same thing that was done to women,
Yeah.
excluding. So as long as they have the mindset that you just spoke on to lift women up and elevate, then I think that's wonderful. And I also think it's wonderful that they're thinking in terms of opportunities in the future for their daughters and how they want their daughters to be treated in the professional world, is something that is very forward thinking in a way that
Mm.
hasn't always been in recent years.
Yes, yes, for sure. No, it's very cool. Actually, our national president for the Women's Council of Realtors is a man. So that just shows you they do get very involved and they
Mhm.
can serve on our leadership boards. And I mean, like you said, if as long as their goal is to elevate and inspire and support women, we're all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not much different or any different really than other forms of activism. You don't have to be a woman, be a certain skin color or be a certain gender in order to support another.
Hmm. Yes, for sure.
Tell me about your personal business a little bit, with Berkshire. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. I work for Berkshire Hathaway Executive Realty in Crown Point. We're right on Main Street. Great location. Um, like I said, I have been a realtor for 5 years. I am a part of my mom's team. She's still going strong as a realtor, 30 years, like I said, in the business. Um, we have a team there of about five, um, five ladies. And I do not only real estate for our team, but I also do marketing. And if I can brag a little bit, because my mom deserves it, we are one of the top, we are in the top 25 teams within Berkshire Hathaway nationally. So, um, like I said, my mom worked so hard and has created this business and this team, and I'm definitely proud to be a part of it.
Congratulations on all that success. That sounds amazing.
Thank you. Yes, thanks.
I imagine it feels really amazing too. The type of work that you do, I would envision it being very heartwarming. I mean, I know the journey getting people to and into their new homes can be grueling and stressful. But also, once it happens and they have the keys in their hands, I imagine that
Oh
that's a
man, it's
really
the
good
best.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best. Um I usually become really good friends with all of my clients. I feel like most people call me, I do get a lot of business from social media. I think because I put myself out there so much and people get to know me and they feel comfortable. I've had people tell me that I've gone to their house for the first time and they're like, I feel like I know you. Um, so it's very personal for them. Like they choose me because they've bonded with me like over social media. And so I feel like usually the people that choose me, we're very similar, right? So we usually become really good friends. And it is, I do work with people who, buying a home is extremely stressful and emotional. So I'm working with them probably, I don't see the best side of them, right? I'm working with them during their most stressed out emotional time, which as it should be, right? Like this is a huge amount of money, probably your biggest financial decision and purchase that you're making. So of course you're stressed out and emotional. So in a way, we're almost like therapists as well. So, I have a lot of deep conversations with my clients. We have a lot of fun together going to see homes. And yeah, just getting through that process, even once you find the home, getting through the escrow period, it can be like inspections and more negotiations. I mean, it's very stressful. I do it every day. Something I learned very early on in my career is I do this every day. These people don't. So you just have to be very sensitive to their emotions and their feelings because it's very real and it's scary for them. So even though I'm used to all these emotions and everything, they're not. So you just walk through this journey of all this emotional stress. And then, yeah, you get to the closing table and it's like, you did it, you got the house. I mean, that is the best. I mean, that's my favorite part of the job. One is, especially the past 2 years when the market's been crazy and like we've won an offer situation, that's the best feeling is calling them, telling them they got the house, right? And then the second best feeling is being in that closing room and them getting the keys, and it's so great. I always tell them, my husband said this sounds weird, but I'm like, I'm gonna follow you on social media. So I want to see you like in your house and enjoying it. Because it's like we've worked so hard. And it's like I love like watching their journey then, through like pictures and stuff on social media of them like living in this house and having, a family or whatever it is, having celebrations in this house that like I know what they went through to get it and that emotional connection they have with it. So I love watching it play out. My husband's like, I don't know. That sounds kind of weird that you say you're going to watch them. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to say it. Like, it brings me joy to like watch them enjoy their house.
Angie, and I think that's probably what quite possibly sets you apart from other realtors is there's like an emotional investment in some ways. And there is a passion that is very obvious on the surface of, just you even speaking about helping people find their way into their new homes. And, it's just makes me smile to know that brings you so much joy to watch them continue the journey and actually then live the life of being in the space.
Yes. Yeah. you go into real estate just focused on money, that's the wrong. I mean, yeah, you can make good money in this career, but that is not what you want to focus on at all. It's not gonna work out. I tell you that right now. Like you have to do what you do for the people. People are gonna be able to tell. They're not gonna trust you, and if you really your heart has to be in it. So if you go into the career just solely focused on money, you're not going to go far. I think people are going to see through you. So, and like I said, it's their biggest financial decision. They want to feel comfortable with you and feel like they could trust you 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just feel like it, but know it.
Yes.
And yeah. And I feel like that's something that you bring to the table very early on in the way you engage your clients.
I hope so. I try to make it fun too. Cause like I said, I might not be for everyone. And I get that too. I think that's huge. Something that people, when you're looking for a realtor, you have to find one that you feel comfortable with. And like you said, that you can trust. And I think, I mean, it might sound weird, but a true realtor knows, a good realtor knows when they're not for everyone. So my personality might not mesh with you. I know there's certain people who are very, you know, type A, you know, maybe good with numbers and like, they're just, and they might work well with actually someone like my mom. We're very different. And it's funny how we talk about our different clients. Like she's like, I always get like the like engineers and like all these like, the I don't know how to say it, like the very smart type A, like, and like I feel like my clients are more like laid back and fun and like, it's like a journey like with me, like we have fun together. And I feel like you have to go with someone who you feel comfortable with. So if I'm I you have how do I say this? I've never fired a client, but I also feel like if I don't feel like I'm the right fit for you, if I want you to have the best experience as possible. And I want you to be the most comfortable and I want you to trust whoever completely. So if I'm not the right fit for you, I know that maybe pass you on to somebody who I feel like might work a little bit better with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's another benefit of working with a team of realtors is
Yeah.
that you can sort of pass the person along if it's not a good fit. And I think that's great too.
Yeah. I think it's just good advice for people looking for a realtor. You don't have to go with, you want to go with someone that you mesh well and fit well with and who's going to understand your needs the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Angie, tell us what is forthcoming for you. What are your plans for the rest of the year and beyond? What are some of your upcoming goals?
Oh man. I have a lot.
The
I have
presidency,
like
of course.
the presidency, of course. Yes. So I'm definitely thinking about next year, which is going to come. Actually, my presidency kind of starts in the fall. So I have to start kind of thinking about how I want my year to go sooner rather than later here. So definitely Women's Council. I'm doing a lot of traveling for Women's Council this year, which is fantastic. I get to be around other leaders from across the country with Women's Council and learn with them. We're a new chapter, so we have a lot of learning to do. I'm excited to kind of travel this year and get to know and learn from other women's councils from around the country. With real estate, the market's changing this year, so I'm curious to see how it's going to go this year. That's the good thing. I could never just sit at a desk and work in a cubicle. That's not me. It's not my personality, and that's why I love real estate because it's constantly changing and different, right? So it's kind of like I wonder what this year is going to be like. I definitely think it's going to be different than the past couple of years. So I'm curious to see how the market's going to change. If the rates are going to drop, how that's going to affect how busy I am. That also affects how much I could do with other endeavors in my life. I'm working on marketing. Like I said, I do marketing for our real estate team, and then I actually just got hired by Berkshire Hathaway, my company, to do the marketing for the company. So I'm kind of setting out on that adventure too. I have a passion for social media and marketing, so I'm excited to see where that goes this year too.
Very cool. Tell us where we can find you and stay most connected with you.
So like I said, I am pretty open on social media. My Instagram is Angie Popovich Realtor, Angie Popovich Real Estate. I should know this.
It'll all be in the show notes, so
You
don't
can find
worry.
me okay, perfect. You can find me on Facebook as well, Angie Popovich. And then for the Women's Council of Realtors, you can look us up, Women's Council of Realtors NWI. You could follow along if you're interested. And we don't just, it's not just mostly for realtors, I should say that, but we also invite businesses to be a part of the Women's Council. Anyone that could benefit from working alongside realtors. Obviously, we have our lenders and title companies and inspectors, but we also, as part of our sponsor group, we have NWI parties. She does balloons. We have a local home designer, Salted Hue Interiors, as part of our sponsor group too. We have a moving company. Just anyone who would benefit from having a relationship with a realtor. It's like we don't just, we work with restaurants. We work with cookie places. With gifts for our clients, local stores, local bakeries. Like anyone like that can partner up with us. So if you have a business that you think you would benefit by networking with realtors, we invite you to contact us as well. So you can find us on Facebook and Instagram with Women's Council of Realtors NWI.
Very cool. So yeah, anybody listening that thinks that they want to connect with Angie and Women's Council of Realtors Northwest Indiana, definitely reach out to her. Those are amazing opportunities to support the community, support women, women in business, and also families indirectly even.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, by helping, we are so connected to people in the community and helping them, like you said, find their homes. And we use so many different sources to help our families, and just by gifts that we give to them, or even companies that can help them with repairs in their home or remodeling or decorate. Like literally, there's so many things if you really think about it. Sending flowers to them. Like there's just a whole list of people that could, if you think about it, benefit from working alongside realtors.
That's awesome. I can't wait to pass this conversation on to all that are willing to listen and share in just the knowledge that you've shared today. I'm excited to put your perspective and passions out there. Thank you for spending time with me today.
Yeah, I really hope that, women listening maybe feel encouraged. And the biggest thing is like not to compare yourself, take time for yourself, find friends or any kind of community group to join to get that encouragement that you need, because like you said, we do a lot and it's hard to do it alone. And you need those resources to come alongside you and love on you and encourage you. So I hope women listening maybe feel encouraged to find that in their own community.
Yeah, no doubt they will. This has been a really powerful conversation, and I thank you so much for everything that you shared today. Thanks for being on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye, Sarah.
Bye. I loved how Angie talked about supporting women in both personal and professional ways. When you really stop and think about it, you can't have full abundance in one area without being full in the other too. Angie, thank you for the way you're showing up in the world, in your business, in the community, and even in your own family. It's all part of the ripple effect that makes real change possible. You're out there doing the real work every day, and it's so cool. And I'm so happy that people like you exist and are out there just doing the work and the hard things. Check the show notes for ways to stay connected to Angie, as well as ways to stay connected to Women's Council of Realtors Northwest Indiana, how you may support or become a part of that organization. You can also support this podcast. Doing so may just mean sharing it. You can rate and review it. I can't tell you enough how just you taking the time to do those things helps keep this space sustainable. You can also choose to help cover some of the background costs. There's a way to donate to support this page via the link in the show notes that will take you to a spot where you can choose how you want to do that. Either way, thank you for listening today. Thank you for sharing time with Angie and I and giving us a little bit of your attention in this world that is just ever competing with where we give it. Have an awesome day. I can't wait till next time.